Long have we known of the existence of the sanctums of the council, but not much is known of their origins or where the first sanctum came into existence. We would like to direct you to the year 219, when the first sanctum, or at least what we believe to be the first sanctum, sprouted up. Now, what do we define as a sanctum? If we look at contemporary examples of what a sanctum is, it tends to be a very tall tower or spire-like structure with much verticality and not much width. If we observe something such as Sanctum Toe, Sanctum Bolygog, Sanctum Grow, or even Sanctum Halahas, they do take on this traditional tower structure, each putting on their own unique twist. Now, going back to the original example in the year 219, we find upon a small rock called the Klackenbalg a very small, almost hut structure. This was kept very small due to the low gravity on this structure. Now, the first magic began to spring into existence at the very beginning of the universe with the creation by the Council Emperor. The very first warlocks were not called warlocks at all. In fact, they were called Hachentich, a very old word in the Emperor's language, because the first language of the Empire was not English, but of Thinkarstu, a very difficult, guttural, complicated language that was phased out over many centuries in favor of a more unified, easier to understand language such as English. Now, the way that the warlocks tapped into this magic at first was very counterintuitive. They tried all sorts of different ways of using science to try and harness the energy known to us as the cosmic background radiation. But what the warlocks soon discovered was that they could not harness the magic through science, but by looking inwards. Upon looking inwards, each warlock noticed that as they were created from the very origins of the universe, with all the matter that was created at the beginning, they could find remnants of the cosmic background radiation within themselves, and they soon used this power to understand and unlock the secrets of magic. Now, something very unique about the way that the magic works is that the warlock can only tap into a specific branch of the cosmic background radiation. For example, the warlocks of Sanctum Grow harness the power to grow plants, to produce life. If you ever take a detour to Sanctum Grow, you will find vines and bogs, swamps littered all around within the tower. This is all the work of the warlocks. You will also find many carnivorous plants they use as defenses against unwary travelers. Now, the very first warlocks in existence didn't tap into any very special magic. They actually tapped into the power of insight. So they did not tap into any material power, but they tapped into wisdom. They tapped into the very fabric of space itself, and they found many topological defects within the fabric of space-time that they could use to manipulate time itself. These warlocks foresaw the future of the sanctums, and they set out planting seeds all across the universe so that they could bring about this future that they had seen. Now, what of the relationship between the Emperor and the warlocks? After all, The Emperor created this universe. It is his magic that the warlocks tapped into. How did the Emperor react to this situation? Well, a meeting was held in the year 262 within the Chancellor's Emporium. And within the Chancellor's Emporium, the Emperor met with 3 warlocks. The founder, Grenzinthan, and his 2 acolytes, Gronin and Thardor. Now, this meeting, while not unexpected, carried a great deal of tension. The warlocks knew that they had perhaps delved too far and sneakily, and thought that the Emperor would not notice their taps into the magic. The Emperor was amused by this, however, and instead of casting them out and having them destroyed, he gave them their blessing in exchange for servitude and loyalty. Now the warlocks at first were unsure about this. They had started their own sanctum in isolation, tapped into this magic, and wanted to build an independent future of warlocks and sanctums. However, at that very moment, a vision consumed the room, and the warlocks saw not of a future of independent strength, but a future in which their supposed rebellion was crushed in an instant. Now the Emperor, while wanting their servitude, had a different goal in mind, and he gestured them to look into the far corners of the universe. 4 prisons could be seen, and the vision which scared the warlocks the most was that of a hammer being formed from the 4 pieces locked in the corners of the universe. This concludes the first chapter of the origins of the sanctums and of the warlocks.